It's time for another totally legitimate Sketchbox. Never mind that it's an old Sketchbox sticker on an Art Snacks box. Hello and welcome back to Jenna Gets Creative. Today we're doing another No Box Art Box challenge, and this round we're tackling the April 2021 offering from Sketchbox. As usual, I'll explain the materials the original box sent out, I'll explain my alternate supply choices, I'll have clips from all of those supplies up in the top corner, and I'll mention the MSRP in US dollars that would appear on the Sketchbox menu card. Converted prices to Canadian dollars and pounds sterling, real-world sale prices, and all sorts of value versus subscription cost calculations will be in the description box down below. This box actually presented the opportunity to think of many different items I could have used, so you'll be seeing lots of clips up in the corner, not just one or two for each menu item. Watch carefully. If you're unfamiliar with the No Box Art Box Challenge, this is a challenge I created in 2018 where you get to replicate the experience of an art supply subscription box without actually getting it. There are tons of reasons to do it. Test the concept and experience before spending money, try boxes that were sent in the past and aren't available for backorder anymore. Try out interesting boxes without adding to your already enormous collection of supplies. Try a particular company's box that isn't available in your country. Try boxes you can't afford to subscribe to at the moment, etc. It's a simple challenge too. Step 1. Pick an art or craft subscription box service, pick a past month that was already sent out, and look up the supplies. Step 2. Match those supplies as close as possible using only items you already own. No shopping for this challenge after you've picked the box. Exact matches are fine as long as you're not using this challenge to redo a box you actually got. If that's the case, use the next closest match you have. Step 3. Make art using only these supplies. If the original box had a challenge theme or prompt, try to stick to it. And only add missing essentials such as a pencil or a piece of paper. If you share your resulting art anywhere on social media, use the hashtag NoBoxArtBox and feel free to drop a link to make sure I see it. I do curate a master playlist for the challenge here on YouTube, and I'd love to add your videos to it. Ready? Let's go. Both basic and premium boxes got a custom 3-set of Marabou Graphics Aqua inks, and this is at least the second time Sketchbox has sent out these inks. I got shade 51 Dark Violet from the November 2018 premium box, and that was my introduction to watercolor inks that spurred far too many additional supply purchases in the last 3 years. The custom set in the April boxes contains Sunshine Yellow, Quin Gold, and Pyrrole Red, and only the first in those is in the regular color rotation. I'm not sure if Quin Gold and Pyrrole Red are new colors coming to the market, or if they're exclusive to Sketchbox, but I don't have them. The 3 set has an MSRP of $9.87 US. I'll be using Sunshine Yellow as an exact match, and Vermilion in place of the Pyrrole Red. Quin Gold appears to be a cool yellow that's a bit dusky, almost like an ochre, but it's still a matte color like the others. It's not a literal gold. I've decided to have some fun and use a literal gold. To replace the third ink, I'm using Winsor Newton's drawing ink in gold, which is a glittery gold granulated material suspended in their transparent ink base. If you just want solid gold from this, you've got to work in many layers, but you can cheat by painting over a suitable solid base color, or you can make other colors sparkly without significantly changing the color by adding this gold. Very cool, versatile ink. Alternatives I could have picked would be a pigmented India ink like Dr. P.H. Martin's Bombay India ink. And by the way, to respond once and for all to the troll who is now muted in my comment section, I never said their Hydrus watercolors weren't Lightfast. I said that information wasn't available when I researched 2 years ago, and Ecoline's liquid watercolors aren't Lightfast. I can't change a 2-year-old video file. YouTube doesn't work that way. If you want to pick fights over petty technicalities on old videos, I will block you. Moving on. I could have picked literally any other dye-based or watercolor ink, and my stand-in bottle is a regular Winsor Newton drawing ink. I could have picked fountain pen ink, and this fun little bottle is both colored and has its own gold shimmer. And finally, more of a stray from the spirit of the original material, I could have picked an acrylic ink like this Daler-Rowney FW ink. I say this is more of a stray because these are quite opaque, and if you lay down too thick of a layer, they do cake up and crack. Next on the card is a stone ground watercolor. This is a handmade watercolor in a half pan, and it retails for $5.91 US. Premium customers got the shimmering metallic shade Hudson Bay Blue, and basic customers got a matte ultramarine. I suspect the color difference is because basic got fewer supplies and it was more important to include the darker blue for mixing. Literally any watercolor in blue would suit to replicate this item, but I want to embrace the light blue shimmering shade, so I picked a Gansai Tambi pan from Kuretake. This is 762 Light Cobalt from the Pearls collection. Third on the card is an Ecoline brush marker in shade 233 Chartreuse. These have an open stock MSRP of $4.25 US, and I do have a few, so I'll show one on screen first, but I'm not going to use an Ecoline pen. These are concentrated dye-based inks like Ecoline's bottled liquid watercolor, but in a brush-nibbed marker. There are plenty of alternative markers you could use to replace this. There's basic water-based artist quality markers like Marabou's Aqua Pen graphics line, or Manuscript's Cali Creative Flexi markers. There's any liquid ink watercolor brush pens like the Caron Brush Marker Pro marker in gold, or the item I'll be using for this challenge, a Sketchbox color brush in blue. There's also proper watercolor paint markers like Faber-Castell's Albrecht Dürer dual-ended markers or Winsor Newton's watercolor markers. Next up is the first item that was only sent to premium subscribers, the Daniel Smith watercolor stick. These are 12 milliliters of water-soluble pigment packed into what looks like a pastel stick. This box sent out a dark blue shade called Genuine Sodalite, which is a semi-precious stone, and this item has an MSRP of $14.57 US. To replace this, and to make up for the lack of pigment in my third liquid ink bottle in one go, I'll be using a Faber-Castell Gelato stick in the shade Mango. This is a water-soluble wax artist crayon in a roll-up tube like lipstick, and it's the same thing as Marabou's artist crayons. If you have Caran d'Ache Neocolor 2 water-soluble crayons, those would work. Derwent Inkten sticks would work. I want to showcase some of the alternative items you might not think of though. For the most obvious substitution, a watercolor pencil. Less obvious, but definitely an option I've suggested in a No-Box Art Box before, Conte sticks and similar hard artist crayons. These are water-soluble, even if they're more known for being used like dry, soft, and hard pastels. Speaking of pastels, did you know soft pastels are also water-soluble? You could use a soft pastel stick or a pastel pencil. It's also possible that pan pastels would work this way, but I don't care to put water in mine, so I'll leave that one a mystery. If you're braver with yours, go for it. Next up is the paintbrush. Same one sent in both tiers, and this is a Silverbrush Crystal Series in a size 2 filbert. These have an MSRP of $5.30. I'm showing you the one and only brush I own by this brand, the Silver Silk Series in a number 4 flat shader. And I'm showing you a Royal & Langnickel Menta Series number 4 round. This is closer to the size of that filbert that was actually sent, and the handles of the Silver Crystal Series look like this. The brush I had in the box at the beginning is actually a filbert, number 8 from Princeton Snap, but obviously this is much bigger and probably more expensive. As I was browsing pieces people have already done with the real boxes on Instagram, I noticed lots of them didn't embrace the limited supply aspect and used multiple brushes, so I'm gonna go ahead and use all 3 of these. Next is the liner pen, and both boxes got a pigment-based metal-clad nib liner in brown, 0.5 millimeters. Basic customers got the Sakura Pigma Micron, which is what I'll be using because I actually have brown, and these have an MSRP of $2.99 US. Premium customers got the Staedtler Pigment Liner, which are my favorite liners, but I only have them in black. These have an MSRP of $5.10 US. Any liner pen would do, ideally in brown, but black or any color that works with the supplies you've picked would work too. Aim for a 0.5mm nib for closest match. Staedtler's water-based Tri-Plus liners are that size, by the way. Last but not least is the paper, and both boxes received a Magani accordion book. This is 300 GSM cotton watercolor paper in an accordion style format. I'm showing you a Pentalic accordion style sketchbook so you can see what they are, but I won't be using this in this round. The Magani book has an MSRP of $5.95 US. By the way, Weblight Dreams, I know you're watching. Do you still have yours waiting around? You suggested we collab with these. I'm still game. I'll be substituting with a sheet of 300 GSM cotton watercolor paper from my Clairefontaine Aquarelle pad. Since these are watercolor supplies, obviously you'll need water to clean your brush and to perhaps dilute the paints, and you'll want some sort of mixing palette. If you're using liquid watercolor inks in jars, you may also want a little dropper, pipette, or syringe to move some of your ink to the palette without dipping your brushes directly into your pure colors. I had a lot of fun with this one. Some people on Instagram were doing tiles of abstract doodle pieces, and I thought that looked like a lot of fun, so I made some interesting shapes with tape and wint nuts. What do you think? It's really relaxing. If you've got materials like this and you want to try something different when it's time to do a relaxing activity instead of adult coloring books, try this. If you got the actual premium box, or you've got Daniel Smith watercolor sticks anyway, tell me what you think of them. I'm really curious about these, but they're so expensive, I've never splurged on them. If you're looking for more to watch, I've got some suggestions up on the left side of the screen now. Don't forget to like, comment, maybe even subscribe, and if you like living life creatively, whatever that means to you, I'd love to have you along for the ride. Bye guys!